Oh yeah, it's double organic.
Cycling in the winter is actually very fun if you have not done it. And if you do cycle in the winter, then you know what I'm talking about. It is really quite nice when you're cycling along. It's not too windy, it's not too cold in the winter night, and you can smell someone's fireplace. It's really actually quite nice. And I'm gonna teach you how to stay warm in the winter while cycling. And in this video, we are covering the hands, how to keep the hands warm, because those are the one thing I find gets the coldest is your extremities, either the hands or the feet. Feet, they as long as you keep them dry and they are covered from the wind, they're going to stay pretty warm. It's not going to be too bad. And you can check out my video on keeping your feet dry and warm. And let's get into the gloves, because that is how you keep your hands warm. In the winter, you need lobster claw gloves. They keep your hands warm because your fingers are closer together and you keep much more heat versus if your gloves are like this. So, on a day such as 0, -1, -2, something like that, you can probably get away with just a pair of gloves like this. But as it starts to get colder, it's nicer to wear a second pair of gloves on the inside. So a 5-finger on the inside, and then on the outside layer, we are using our lobster claw. So I have a couple types of gloves here I'm going to show you. And I'm going to just kind of go over the differences between the two gloves. And then I'm going to go over some techniques that you can use to further keep your hands warm. So, simple pair of inside gloves. I believe these are made by Bontager, and they breathe pretty well. Then my other pair of inside gloves are made by Gyro, and you can see at the wrist they are having an elastic band. And so what I use this for is tucking my winter cycling jacket into it. So I tuck the sleeve in so that when I'm riding, I'm not getting cold air going up my sleeves. And so I have a pair of gloves here that has a drawstring, and so I wear these gloves with those ones, and this pair of gloves, because it's open and I can't get it closed because I don't have a drawstring, I use these pairs of gloves because I can tuck my sleeve in, and that way, regardless of which gloves I'm wearing, I'm not getting cold air going up my sleeves or into my hands. So, first we have crab claw gloves or lobster claw gloves made by Gyro. These are good. They have some reflective material on the hands. That is good for when you're signaling or when your hands are just on the handlebars, and more reflective material is good because in the winter it's darker. Next, what I really like about these gloves is the drawstring. The drawstring is very easy to operate with the limited dexterity of the gloves, and so you can put them on your own very easily. You just slide your hand in and then pull the drawstring, and then you're good to go. Okay, this is the next pair of gloves I'm going to show you. These gloves are nice. They have a little soft area right here. You can wipe your nose in the winter, which is always nice. Here is what I like about these gloves. They have a little one-way mesh vent here, so when your hands are cold, you got your glove on, you can blow into it, gets the warm air into the hands, and then that's really helpful when it's cold out. Now I'm going to go over a couple tips on keeping your hands warm while cycling. So, you always want to keep squeezing your hands, moving your fingers back and forth, and that's going to keep the blood flowing to your hands and keep them warm. But sometimes it's so cold that even that doesn't work. And this is something that I recently discovered. You need to do this at a red light or a stop sign or something. You can't really do this while you're cycling, but this really keeps your hands warm. So, what you are going to do to keep your hands warm and to force the blood to your hands to warm them up is chopping back and forth. Just back and forth. So you're at a red light or a stop sign and you're just chopping back and forth, and what you really want to focus on is not just going back and forth, but generating a lot of speed and then stopping, and then a lot of speed on the way in and then abruptly stopping, so that you get that chopping force, and it's going to really send all the warm blood to your hands. And when I was riding in minus 17 plus the wind chill, it was probably closer to minus 25, and half-hour bike ride, and I was arriving to my destination with warm hands. So, get some Lobster claw gloves, get a pair of inside gloves, keep moving your fingers, and chop your arms back and forth, and you're gonna have warm hands and an enjoyable bike ride. Take care. Hope that was informative. Stay tuned for more videos for making cycling in less than ideal conditions pleasurable. Peace. In rainy conditions, which are also cold, gloves that normally work well in the winter, such as lobster claw gloves, don't work because they get soggy wet after a few minutes of riding, or 10 minutes depending on how hard it rains. But neoprene gloves are waterproof, and they provide a reasonable amount of insulation and keep your hands relatively warm in cooler temperatures. So what I have here are just some scuba diving gloves. These are 6.5 millimeter neoprene, made by Mayors. You could buy them at any dive shop. A neoprene glove is going to be somewhere between $15 and $30 for the pair. They come in varying thicknesses depending on the temperature of the water intended to be used for. There are also cycling gloves made of neoprene that you can find at your bike shop. Either should be suitable, and it'll keep your hands dry I find that if the temperature is 0 or somewhere in that range, -1, +1, in that very cold temperature, these gloves are not going to provide that much insulation. Your hands will get pretty chilly. However, it'll be better than having your normal crab claw, lobster claw, winter type gloves getting soaking wet, because then those gloves become completely useless. So definitely suggest using some neoprene gloves when it is cooler and rainy out. Hope that little tip keeps your hands warm. Peace.